Warning. Proceeding without caution will bring you into spoiler territory for the media displayed on screen. Timestamps are gifted in the description and comment section. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, it's been a while. Truth be told, the reason why I've been gone for so long is because I've been out in the Mojave, just, exploring everywhere. The desert, it's nice, it's fun. I've been taking several sips from my trusty Vault 13 canteen. And I've also met several friends, and so I thought naturally, like you would do with friendships, I would rank them. Yeah, we're gonna go over all the companions in Fallout New Vegas and rank them from my least favorite to my absolute favorite. Little bit of some disclaimers. Just because I have a least favorite on this list doesn't mean that I don't like them. I actually like all of the companions in this game. But naturally, when you're doing a ranking from worst to best, there is going to have to be a bottom spot. And last but not least, I do have some criteria for how I'm looking at these companions. We have their quest in general, obviously their personality, how well they are in combat, at least with how I've experienced them, and also the perk that they give you. So anyways, with all that out of the way, let's get started with this ranking.
I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle. Jingle, jangle.
Starting off this ranking, we have Eddie, because, truth be told, I really just don't care about this bot. Now, there is a version of Eddie that I like way more, and that's his Lonesome Road counterpart, but we're talking about the base game here, and base game, I find, just holds really nothing. In terms of personality, he's got, like, none. You get some adorable moments, but I find Lonesome Road just has way more personality with him. He's got a lot more animations. I feel like he has more beeps and boops to him as well. While base game just doesn't really have much of it. You may get a couple adorable beeps, but, like, there's no animation. He's just a static floating iBot. Just floating there. Doing nothing. And I do get that lore reason he is a damaged iBot, so that's might be the reason why. I also don't know if when making the game, they just didn't really have like much of the budget or the resources or the time in order to implement as much animations as they wanted to, or if it was like a disk space kind of thing. But regardless, I find that the base game version of Eddie doesn't have that much personality, and I just don't really care that much. In terms of his quest, I also think Lonesome Road does him way better as well, because the base game version of Eddie's quest is go to certain places in order to unlock an audio log where you basically just hear Whitley talk about, like, if you find this bot, this is its purpose, do this. While in Lonesome Road, the audio logs that you get are like these secret recordings that he took while in the Enclave base or while he was out and about doing his little traveling. So you get to hear, like, this kid, or you get to hear Whitley or this other person from the Enclave be talking. And I just find those a lot more interesting than your generic, here's what you're supposed to do with this thing. The only interesting part, I would say, of his quest, outside of, like, the choice of whether or not you want to take him to the Brotherhood or the Followers, was this moment where the game really shows that it had 18 months to be made.
We'd be very interested in examining your tech.
Could you bring your robot to one of our patrols so they can examine it? I'll have the robot mark the location on your map.
I don't know what happened here, but I love it a lot. And in terms of the outcome on whether or not you want to take him to the Followers or the Brotherhood, I chose the Followers. The Brotherhood gives him better armor. Followers give him a better weapon, which I think is a little funny because apparently the Followers are a pacifist faction, so having them give him a weapon is a little ironic. But I would rather trust the Followers in the hands of an iBot from the Enclave rather than the Brotherhood, because the Brotherhood would scrap it for parts. I know they technically don't do that in the game, but, like, I know the Brotherhood. They wanted to do that. When it comes to combat, this iBot, from what I've experienced, kinda sucks. I mean, truth be told, I don't use Eddie all that much, and I threw him into the long 15, and this was the result. You okay there, bud? Taking a while to take out that one guy. Oh, dear Lord. This was also after he got the upgraded weapon from the Followers, so, like, fucking hell. His perk, or at least what you get at the end, is being able to see enemies from very far away on your compass before you actually get to see them, which, case in point, in this footage, I guess is pretty neat. Personally, I don't think I have much of a usage for that. So yeah, while I love Eddie in Lonesome Road specifically, the base game version of him is just kind of nothing. I think the easiest pick for who was going to be at the bottom of the list was going to be Eddie.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Next up on the ranking, we got the bestest boy, Rex from the Kings. Again, this is one where I don't really use him all that much. In combat, he's alright. I mean, better than Eddie, at least, from what I can remember of any time I have used him. But overall, there are companions with way better combat. His quest line is somewhat interesting. His brain's not really doing too well. You gotta replace his brain. You get 3 different choices. You either, if I can remember off the top of my head, you can either kill one of Old Lady Gibson's dogs, which she does it in the most brutal, almost sociopathic way that I think I've ever seen.
Here, Ray. Mama's got something for you.
That shit was fucking crazy. You could get a dog brain from one of the Fiends members that you can kill for the NCR, which I thought was a little interesting. And then there's also a third dog brain, and off the top of my head, I cannot remember where you get it or what it does. I do think it is interesting that depending on what brain you get, it has a different outcome for Rex. Personally, I think the brain that you get from one of Old Lady Gibson's dogs is the better one of the 3. That basically ends up just being his entire quest, and then you get to keep him around if you want to. Personally, on my latest playthrough, when I sent him back, I sent him back to Freeside. He's my only companion that is not in the Lucky 38. He gets to belong with the king. That is the king's dog. I respect the king. In terms of personality, he's a dog with a robot brain. Better than the other Fallout dogs because he has a robot brain and he's also not named Dog Meat for the 3rd or 4th time. Yeah, ultimately, he's nothing all that too special. Also, his perk that you get, I find completely useless because all it does is highlight bodies that have chems or ammo. But when you're a loot goblin like myself, even outside of Fallout 4, that just loots every single dead body so you can go sell everything for caps.
How did I get here?
It's a pretty useless perk for me. The one time I think I ever actually tried to use this perk was doing the Camp Searchlight quest, where you have to get all the irradiated dog tags. And of course, an irradiated dog tag is not chems or ammo, so it was pretty fucking pointless. And also, the dog tag I was looking for was that one alive fuck that the Reddit post completely confused me about because they said his dog tag wasn't worth anything, but that was the last one I was missing. Oh my god, do I hate the Camp Searchlight quest so much. Anyways, so yeah, Rex, he's the bestest boy, obviously. He's a great dog, good boy. But in terms of companions, falls this pretty low for me.
Heartaches by the number, troubles by the score.
So with the non-human companions out of the way, their first one is going to be my girl, Cass. Now, I know she's more towards the bottom when I say my girl, but I say that mostly just because she was my first companion that I actually, really liked. Fun fact, she was actually the one that taught me the word shit. I still have that memory of sitting at my uncle's place watching him play New Vegas, and at one point a companion just said, "We're hunting shitheads," and I proceeded to repeat it as a small child. And everyone in the room told me, don't say that. But yeah, I've always liked Cass, personality-wise, mostly just because I love my foul-mouthed characters. She's just kind of this sorta edgy, alcoholic shithead that's incredibly sarcastic, cusses a lot, and I enjoy every second of it. I mean, one of my favorite companions in Fallout 4 was Kate, who has a similar personality, only instead of alcoholism, it's drug addiction. So while a lot of people probably don't like Cass because of her personality, I'm one that actually does enjoy it. In terms of her quest, I think she's probably the weakest of them all. It's kind of just an experience. I mean, starting it has always confused the fuck out of me. I always head to the Mojave Outpost always wanting to recruit her along with me, but I can't, because I think you have to specifically start the Crimson Caravan quest line and be able to go to her to get her to sell off her caravan in order to then start her quest line, which then basically is just look at 2 or 3 broken down, killed off caravans owned by her, and then go kill off the Crimson Caravan of the Van Graffs. And in my latest playthrough, at least, I had already killed off the Van Graffs, so it was literally just go kill off Alice, and then quest complete. It's just kind of there. I mean, there are the aspect of whether or not you want to turn it into a revenge plotline or anti-revenge. You obviously do get the choice of whether or not you want to go out and kill Alice and the Van Graffs, or you can talk Cass out of it. Personally, I go for killing off both of them because the Van Graffs have a shit ton of loot. I need that for money, and I just don't really like Alice. So I guess the outcome of whether or not it's going to be a revenge plotline or anti-revenge is kind of neat, but overall I find her quest just kind of exists, and there's nothing really too special about it. Though one thing I will say is that when recording footage for this video, I found out something with Cass's quest that I never actually knew about, which is among the speech and barter check options in order to get her to sell her caravan, you could just bring 12 bottles of whiskey to get drunk and outdrink her, and then that'll make her sell her caravan. I guess points for that, because that's really intriguing. Her perk as well, I mean, it's only good for alcoholics, truth be told. You get a higher damage threshold if you're drinking, and as somebody who pretty much, like, never drinks in the games, I have no use for this. And when it comes to combat, like, I think she's fine. I haven't really had much of a special experience with her. She's just kind of there. She kills enemies when she needs to. It's nothing too special, nothing too bad. There are definitely companions that are way better in combat than she is. Yeah, overall, while I do have a soft spot for her, and I do like her personality in general, she is nowhere near my favorite, and ends up falling at the bottom line when it comes to at least, like, the humanoid companions. Lily is an interesting one for me because throughout my entire life of playing Fallout New Vegas, I never really gave two fucks about her. She's just a Nightkin with schizophrenia, like all Nightkins. The only difference with her is that she continues to imagine her grandchildren and thinks that you're also one of her grandchildren, which I guess is neat. I pretty much only use her exclusively for that one quest in Jacobstown where you go find I think it's the Nightcrawlers, and then I just abandon her for some other companion. On my latest playthrough, obviously, I wanted to actually experience her quest, so I brought her around with me. Starting it is kind of annoying because you have to actually, like, have her around. There's nothing specifically you can do to trigger it. You just have to have her around as you walk around the Mojave and do stuff, and then maybe she'll take her meds at some point, and then that sparks the dialogue. She also has to take a certain amount of damage, which you can actually trigger just by beating the shit out of her yourself.
I just smack my grandma with a pan. I just smack my grandma with my hands. I just smack my grandma with a pan. Rest in peace, my granny, she got hit by a bazooka.
And in combat, I think she's pretty good. I've watched her take out several Fiends members every time I've gone to Vault 3, and, I mean, New Vegas being New Vegas, I got this legendary fucking clip from her.
You got his book? Dermot, this bitch got your book. She got your book.
I won't let you hurt my baby.
And when it comes to Lily's perk, I think it has potential for, like, a good sneak build, maybe, but in my case, I don't really sneak all that much, and when I did try to sneak through the, like, Repcon building with the Cult of Ghouls, and there's all the Nightkin, I tried to sneak through that, just because I wanted the alternate dialogue where you get to talk to the leader of the Nightkin. And I kind of found it didn't really help all that much. I mean, they still found me. So, I don't know. It might be good if you're, like, really into sneak. Personally, I didn't really find it all that useful. And didn't really even work all that well. But what makes me put her above Cass, at least, despite the fact that I like Cass's personality a lot more, is her actual quest line. Because throughout New Vegas, all the companions get a, like, final motive. Or at least most of them, I would say. You get to encourage the companion on whether or not they want to go a certain route. Now, with Lily's, it was specifically about whether or not she should continue taking her meds at half dosage so she can still remember her grandchildren, take them at full dosage and completely forget about her grandchildren, or stop taking them entirely. Now, the thing about Lily that made it very different from the other companions was when it came to the rest of the companions, when I got that choice on whether or not to tell them which route to go for, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Lily was the one where I had to tell her, give me a few moments to think this through. And I had to go several days in the Mojave not giving her an answer because in real life, I'm just thinking, Which choice do I go for? This is such a difficult choice that I don't really think has a right answer. The choice I went for was using her meds at full dosage to keep her healthy, but that whole choice on whether or not do I let this grandma forget about her grandchildren entirely so she can be safe and healthy, encourage her to continue doing the half dosage thing that she's doing, or tell her to get off the meds entirely, was so interesting and just put me in a spot of there is no right answer to this, and I don't really know what to pick, and I have to think about what choice I want to go for that no other companion had. And so I think she does outdo at least Cass and especially Rex and Eddie because of that choice, despite the fact that I don't entirely have much of a connection to her as a character or as a companion in like combat and stuff. I just think that final option is such a heavy hitter question that it was easy to put her above Cass. Arcade, voiced by Shazam. That was interesting to find out. He is another interesting one where I, for the longest time, didn't know this companion existed. Definitely didn't know he was voiced by Zachary Levi. And having him around, he's pretty neat. He has his moments. He has his iconic moments, especially if you activate Archimedes.
You activated Archimedes? What the hell are you thinking?
Personality-wise, he's kind of middle of the road. There's nothing too special about him. He's just a guy. Basically, he's just a guy that wants to do good in the wasteland, obviously, because he is from the followers. I think it's alright. His quest I find very interesting with how it's a lot of him trying to grapple with what his dad used to do being in the Enclave, and how fundamentally his opinion of the Enclave is that they are a fascist organization, and that goes against his own morals and opinions, and he doesn't know whether or not he should follow in his father's footsteps or continue going down his own path of being with the followers. Eventually, he does want to at least bring back some of the Enclave, or at least the remnants of them, which is just like a group of old people that are still alive, to at least do something with the Battle of Hoover Dam. But at the very end of it, he still doesn't know whether or not he should go into battle wearing his dad's old Enclave armor, or if he should be his own person, and you get to make that choice yourself. I went for the be your own person, be with the followers. I do like his quest a lot, mostly just because I think the Enclave is kind of interesting. I also do like how New Vegas handles the outcome of the Enclave and the remnants of them. You also get really cool Enclave power armor that I didn't know existed for the longest time. And you also get one of the greatest line deliveries in this entire game, and it's not even from Arcade himself.
I didn't come all the way out here just so we could save the fucking NCR.
I do kind of like that whenever you meet a remnant of the Enclave, you get this interaction with Arcade about them and their viewpoint and just what your opinion and take is on it, and that eventually comes to his actual conclusion. I think that's kind of neat. Combat-wise, he's alright. Nothing too special, nothing bad, but again, he's just a guy. I mean, he is very open about how he's not that good in combat. He's not really a combat guy. He's more of stay in the followers camp, but like, again, he's whatever. And in terms of Arcade's perk, it's better healing. You get literally just more health from like a stim pack or food. Personally, I didn't fucking notice it at all. I guess it's fine, but like, straight up, I just didn't notice it, that when it came to writing out my notes and trying to figure out what perk it is, I couldn't think of what it was, because it's a perk that barely had that much effect on me. Stim packs are stim packs. But overall, I do like Arcade. I do like his quest. He's a good companion to have, at least for the quest line and the outcome of the quest line and how it plays into Hoover Dam, but as like a go-to companion that I would walk around the entire wasteland with, not so much. And also, when you finish this questline, you can't even have him as a companion anymore, so that's kind of unfortunate, but oh well.
Make it one for my babe.
Now we're getting into the top 3, and we're gonna go for Boone this time around. First of all, his quest is just like one of the most iconic startups in the entire game, in my opinion. I mean, obviously you get it pretty early on, but it's a quest where he wants to find who is responsible for selling his wife off into Legion camp. Not who killed her, though, just the person that sold her. So you go find her. It's actually the old lady that, like, introduces you into Novak, I guess, if you decide to go into that building first. I go for the dino, always. But turns out it was her. She sold the wife off for a couple caps. You find the bill of sale. You lead her out to the front of the dino and watch her head get blown off. I think it's funny that if you decide to tell Boone that you just decided, you don't show him the bill of sale or anything, you just decide she's the one that does it, he goes aggro on you and tries to kill you. Man got his morals. After that, you get to have him as a companion, and the rest of his quest line, in order to start it, is you have to take him to specific Legion places and wipe out the Legion. You eventually get to learn what happened about his wife. He's the one that killed her because she was about to get put into Legion sex slaves. I don't know specifically if it was sex, but probably. And he's the one that decided to put her out of her misery before it even started, which is really fucking depressing, and exactly the reason why I had him be the one to kill Caesar when we went to the tent. But his quest doesn't even stop there. Eventually, you get to go to Bitter Springs with him and kill out a bunch of Legion mercenaries. You get to learn a bit more about Bitter Springs and what happened, and that's also depressing because he basically got ordered to kill any of the Great Khans leaving, including women and children, and he just had to because that's military orders. And speaking of depressing, another thing that happened while I was recording footage for this video was when I was going through the little canyon spot in Bitter Springs, and Boone had this dialogue to say.
Christ. They put the graveyard here.
God, that's dark. His quest is just probably the most depressing out of all of them, and you get to learn a lot about him, and his backstory is pretty depressing. In terms of his perk, I think his perk is pretty neat. You get basically just enemies that get highlighted as you look down your scope. I think that's pretty cool. In terms of personality, he's a stoic military veteran that mostly hides off his emotions and his backstory, and you have to gain his trust throughout working with him and killing a lot of Legion in order to learn more about him, and I find that very interesting. And again, he's just very iconic. In combat, he is the fucking goated sniper for a reason. That man has a reputation of he will shoot a Cazador on the other side of the Mojave out of nowhere, and I love every fucking second of it. He is damn good in combat. I'm glad he got the kill shot on Caesar. He's a very good companion. I do love him. I love his quest after playing through it. I love his backstory. He's really cool. And man, do I love putting him in NCR veteran armor. And also the, whatever the hell it's called. I can't even remember what it's called. But the armor you get from the Lonesome Road DLC. Man, does he look cool in that. Put the anti-material rifle on that bad boy, and you got one of the greatest fucking people in the entire Mojave next to the courier. It's also really funny if you accidentally take his hat.
I'd really like my beret back, please.
I could make you care.
At number 2, we have Veronica, who, honestly, if I were to make this list before I did my latest playthrough, she would have been at number 1. First of all, her personality, it's so adorable. She's so bubbly, she's so nice, she's so charming, she's so caring as well, and just adorable. It is so adorable if you actually give her a dress. Combat-wise, she is a beast with a power fist. Oh, there we go. You're a little bitch, and your brother was too.
Oh, now it's on. Looking for
Veronica. Yo! Veronica, you didn't have to do that to that man. Oh my god, are you smiling? Veronica, I am slightly scared of you now. I will always give her the two-step goodbye. I usually do not end up killing the Van Graffs with Cass. I do it with Veronica because there was one time where a bunch of Van Graffs kept walking out the door and she just kept killing them one after another. She soloed the entire fucking building, killing them all. It was great and I love her for it. Her quest line, one of the more interesting ones and one of the more like active ones that you get to do a lot for, where she tries to convince the Brotherhood of their faults and their weaknesses, and she tries to actually like make them better. You get, I think, 2 or maybe 3 different things that you could bring over to the Elder to try to convince him. Unfortunately, regardless of whatever Elder is in place, they will deny it entirely. I do like that there are different dialogue and different reasons on why they deny it, depending on which Elder you have. Of course, getting said items is a bit annoying. On my latest playthrough, I went for the pulse gun, because I thought that was actually like a very good thing to bring up of, hey, here's this gun that literally negates power armor, and most of your fucking people are in power armor. They denied it. There's another one that has to do with vegetation. I can't entirely remember what you're supposed to do to get to it, but it's probably better than getting the pulse gun. The pulse gun requires you to go to my least fucking favorite vault It's so annoying. I get lost in this every time. My one and only complaint that I could possibly have for Veronica's questline is having to go to this goddamn vault, but even then, that is entirely on me. I chose to get the pulse gun. And you know what? After you deny Veronica, despite all the facts she's trying to speak, then yes, I will use the pulse gun to wipe out the entire Brotherhood with my bare hands before I explode the entire bunker. I do not like the Brotherhood of Steel. Regardless of all that, I do think it's a little sad how they are so keen on throwing her out, regardless of what she tries to do. It doesn't matter what you end up picking, she will not be able to convince the Brotherhood. They are so stuck in their own ways. I know she does make the choice to leave before, but the Knights basically say, like, no, you're out. When you eventually try to have her join the followers, they just wipe that entire fucking building, which is depressing. And yeah, it's just really sad that despite her being family, they are so keen, and it's so easy for them to just cast her out of it because she dares try to challenge their viewpoints. Her motives are trying to make the Brotherhood better, but they're so stuck in their ways they don't want to hear any criticism of their own motives that they just kick her out so easily. Man, are there political implications behind her questline? Her perk is also pretty good, I guess. If you use the workshop, it's a good perk to have. Personally, I don't really use the workshop all that much, so I didn't really find that much of a purpose. I will gladly have her as one of my first companions in the game every single time. I know I meet Boone beforehand. I'll grab Boone, but the moment I get Veronica, I'm grabbing her. And she will follow me throughout the wasteland for a while until I end up getting to our number one person.
And the ranger's aim was deadly with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip.
Raoul is the best companion, and it's not even close. First of all, his quest line is something else. Now, it's a very simple quest line, and it's one that doesn't even have, like, a mark or a location or anything. You have to basically do this all individually while looking at a wiki post, basically. And it's basically just take him to 3 specific old men, listen to their stories, and then let Raoul try to figure out what he's supposed to do with his life being this old guy. Throughout his quest, you basically get to learn about his backstory as well. And you know how I said Boone is a very depressing backstory? Raoul's is also really fucking depressing. You get to listen to this man talk about how he basically lost his entire family to raiders, committed a lot of revenge, lost his little sister as well. There's also a little bit of finding someone that kind of looks like his little sister and somewhat adopting her, losing her too. It's just nothing but sadness listening to this man talk about his entire life. In the end, you basically get to give him the option on whether or not he can continue to be a really good gunslinger, which he has his own doubts, and you can talk him into, no, you're a good gunslinger, continue doing it. Or he continues to be a mechanic, and you get whatever perk with that. I wouldn't know it. I went for the gunslinger. Because you know what I do with Raoul? I give him the mysterious magnum, and it's great. I love it. In combat, he's a damn good person. He was a good gunslinger for a reason. I watched that man take out cazadors that no other companion could possibly do. Personality-wise, he is so incredibly sarcastic, it is funny. I swear to God, every single one of his dialogue options is some form of old man sarcasm, and it's such a joy to listen to.
Alrighty then. I'll just head out, alone, by myself, into the dangerous waste. I expect to be awed by your dizzying mercantile sense, boss. Angry soldier robots with bazookas. I'm sure they'll be a good police force. You forget about me already, boss? Shoot first, poke bodies later. Got it, boss. Good call. I mean, if that's what you really want, boss. Sure. I'll stop using my rather effective gun and switch to, this piece of metal tubing here. Great plan, boss. Charging a casino full of heavily armed gangsters was a great idea, boss. Definitely not the kind of thing that could have gotten us both killed. I'm sure you'll be fair and equitable, boss. That's sounding dangerously close to a plan, boss. Probably because it used to be Miguel's. Oh, I wouldn't dream of getting too far away, boss. Not to worry, boss. I'm sure killing the boss of one of the families will in no way lead to savage, bloody reprisals against you and your loved ones. Okay, boss. I'll just wait here, alone, while my heavily armed companion goes out of earshot. I'm sure nothing will happen.
And he's also voiced by Danny Trejo, so like 10 out of 10.
I went after Dave and his brothers. They had a head start, but they slept nights. I didn't.
And when it comes to his perk, I think it's easily, without a doubt in my mind, the best perk out of any of the companions, because he basically makes it so your gear takes a little longer to break, which is really good when you're running around the Mojave with a pair of Enclave power armor that, as far as I'm aware, you can't use any other power armor to use to repair it. It's pretty nice to be able to use it for a little while longer, and then send Raul to his shack, so then I can pay him caps to repair it. And then we get to go back to exploring the Mojave. And you know what's the greatest thing about this guy? Is that for the longest time I just didn't know he existed. And I know that's been a running theme with a lot of the companions, but no, genuinely, like when I heard about how there was a Danny Trejo ghoul companion in New Vegas, I was confused because I've never met him. Because he's stuck in fucking Black Mountain jail, and the only way to get into it is either read through the command prompts to find the code, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, of course, naturally, or lockpick into the door. And I don't think I've ever stepped into this building until recently, so I just didn't know he existed. And then I find him, and he's got one of the best personalities, the best perk, he's damn good in combat, and voiced by Danny Trejo. One of the best companions, and for the longest time, I never even knew he existed. And on this playthrough, I found that he is just the best one. I mean, I was very easy on he is top 3, no doubt, but the more I play with him around, the more it's just, oh, you are the best. You are the best companion. From his backstory to his combat abilities to his perk, just all across the board, I think, in my personal opinion, Raul is the best companion in the entire game and is easily one of my favorites. Whether or not he is my actual favorite, I don't know. Boone, Veronica, and Cass are pretty cool. And so, yeah, overall, that is my ranking of the New Vegas companions, from my least favorite to my favorite. What did you think about the ranking? Where would you personally rank them? Leave them in the comments down below. That's basically all I got. I'm going to continue exploring the Mojave after I get a burger here. Goddamn, does Good Spring have like the best burgers I've ever had in my entire life.
And of course, everyone has their own opinion, but my opinion is the best opinion. I'm sure you figured that out already.
Could I have a subscriber, please?